Hi, Jack Mitchell, publisher of the Ledger-Dispatch. I'm here with Kim Grady from the Elections Department. Your official title is the Election Guru, I think, isn't it?
According to Jim. Registrar of Voters works fine.
Registrar of Voters runs the elections office here. I was up at the elections office in early May looking up. They have this kind of nasty recall thing going on for 4 out of 5 school board members, and was up getting the letters that they'd answered back, and talked to one of your folks up at the front window there, and they said, you know, we've got some big news coming up for elections. It's going to be a new system with voter spots, vote centers. Yeah. And then I went out of town, and then I came back, and the headline in the paper when I got back in town was Amador County to switch to all-mail election system. And I was like, well, wait a second.
Not quite.
That's not exactly right. And so I was like, uh-oh, call Kim. So I called Kim, and Kim, Facebook world, and everyone else out there, YouTube and podcast and that, Kim. So you've got a lot going on at the elections office.
Yes,
and I really want to focus. There is a great interview coming out with Jim Grady on KVGC where he talked not only about this, but about a lot of it. But I really wanted to focus on this because the headline to me was misleading, in that you are sending out mail ballots to everyone?
Yes. Well, and you know, this is still, it's a long process that we have to go through with the state. And they have to approve it before it all happens.
So it's not been approved yet, but this
Correct.
is a system that we're looking
headed
towards.
And the state, I've talked to them many times, and they are very on board and willing to help. And so I can't imagine it's not happening, but it's not done yet. There's a lot to go.
So before you had vote by mail, which is what I've done forever, and then you also had all these polling places,
Correct.
which is great if you go back in the historical archives. If I call up certain spots, 8,000 things pop up because it's always the same voter poll places, or has been.
Right, for a
very historical.
Yes.
But you're getting rid of polling places then?
Correct. If it all goes smoothly, we'll go to vote centers, which it functions pretty much like a polling place elections office, but there will only be 3, and everybody in the county will be mailed a vote by mail ballot in the beginning, and then you get more choices. This came through with the Voters Choice Act.
Everyone gets their ballot in the mail.
Yes.
You can fill it out at home.
And mail it back.
You can mail it back.
You can.
You don't have to drop it off at the voter center.
Correct. And we've actually, a new law went in that we are paying the return postage on those.
Well, that's going to be kind of expensive.
Yes. Yes, it is. But that's what the code says.
So that's what you go with. So you actually have a postage paid piece that you can mail back your ballot through the mail. How many people vote by mail?
Right now we're almost 74%, and it's kind of going up every day.
Wow.
So we are a lot of vote by mail already.
But if you did not want to vote by mail, there are going to be vote centers.
Correct.
3 of them.
Yes, 2 of which will be open for 11 days, and these are all according to the code by population and registration.
State code.
And so 2 of them would be open for 11 days, which is including election day. One of which is the elections office, and then the other one would be open for 4 days, including election days. And you can come in there and
so you have 3 plus the elections office?
No,
or
2
so
plus.
it's two other spots other than the elections office that you can drop off your ballot up to a week prior?
Or right until 8 o'clock on election day.
On election day.
Polls close.
So where are those going to be located?
Well, the one at the elections office, and we're still finding those because there's requirements of the place itself. And so we're looking at the east end of the county and the west end of the county, just to try.
How do they decide how many spots?
It's by population and registration of voters. So it's per 10,000.
Do you know based on the information you get, do you know, is that going to be, so it's going to be east and west of county? Do you have any ideas yet, or?
No, we're looking Pine Grove, Pioneer, and then down Ione area, just trying to spread it out so that everyone kind of had an opportunity.
Has a spot?
Yeah.
I would think it'd be tough to find some spot. The country's kind of tight.
Yes.
As far as location for the number of people you might be dealing with.
It doesn't necessarily have to be a huge facility because it's for 11 days.
It's
so you
not
don't get
all that one.
Yes, you don't get just election day traffic. It'll be for days. So we're working on those because they have to be ADA compliant. And all of these have accessible voting machines and accessible materials.
So on the vote by mail, do you usually see that all come in one day? I mean, when it goes out, does it all come in?
It kind of goes in spurts.
It doesn't? I've always assumed that it was like the election's over when the mail ballot goes out.
No, we have that first week we'll get a little bunch of them, and then probably 3 weeks after we get a bunch, and then it kind of trickles, and then as it gets closer to the election itself.
When you guys have pulled a trick where now when you vote on, so I always voted by mail, I'll drop mine in the post office, but then I got to where I got busy and I didn't make it, so on election day I was handing it in at the polling place, which would now be a vote center. Those aren't counted.
Until the day after the election, we start counting those.
And can take several days.
Oh yeah, weeks. Well, hopefully not.
The only reason I bring it up is Jim and I used to laugh because we'd be up doing election coverage. We'd
Yeah.
share coverage, and guys running around. We'd be like, "Oh, we've got it. We'll figure it out." We'd have by midnight or so. Oh, it's over. And now we've got like, stay tuned. It's not quite there yet.
Yeah.
It's like the school board in Iowa. That went back and forth.
Especially, yes. Yeah, no, we're required to give the polling results to the Secretary of State on election night. So we do vote by mail ballots up till election day. Then we have to do the polling places.
Switch over and then
back, which will be different now.
So are you excited about the changes? Do you think this?
I am.
This is the way to go.
Yes, this is what the state has wanted. Their intent was to have everyone to vote centers by 2022. So this is the process. We were doing it a little slower until the machines were decertified. So now they've given some funding. They've decertified. So
funding's good.
Yes,
I like funding.
Funding is lovely, which is why we couldn't think about it in the beginning, because it's.
So you got some funding, and you're streamlining the process. You'll have vote centers. So if you read the paper and it's an all-mail election system, the all-mail part is basically referring to everyone's going to get their ballot in the mail.
Correct.
Now, there are concerns certainly for those that are, and we have a very vocal group, I would say, in Amador County overall, where I always have publishers call me and like, how do you get everyone so involved with the paper? And what's going on? It's like, they're just loud.
That's what we do.
That's what we do. But on the voter side, they get concerned about voter fraud. I mean, I get my kids moved, grandma's passed away.
Yes.
Now it's just going to be in the mail. How's all that tracked and how's that
It's
work?
through the voter registration. So we would have to, someone has to notify us that you moved. So you need to change your registration. When someone passes away, we get that through the recorder's office.
So that part really hasn't changed.
No,
at all.
Those are the same. And with conditional voting, now you can register to vote right up into 8 o'clock on election day and vote on the same day.
Wow.
So before that was 15-day close.
Right.
And now you can do it right up until the minute.
Is that part of the streamlining process?
It is. And the fraud is, it's talked about a lot in the news, but when you vote by mail, you have to sign your ballot.
Right.
And that has to be verified. So when it comes back to the office, that's part of our work, is that we have to verify that that is you, that is your signature.
Right.
All of that
match
before
it all
it
up.
goes.
That's the time.
So
that's the time.
there might be ballots mailed to somebody who has moved.
How many folks do you have go through the mail ballots when they come in right now?
We usually have one extra help at least, so there's probably four
I'll
of
have
us.
to check it all. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So voter poll centers, not just mail. You've got funded from the state.
Yes, with some matching funds and hopefully even a little bit more with, they have a May revision, so we might
How
get
many
some.
other counties are going through this process? You said they want to get everyone on there. Is everyone going
Yes.
into this system?
Right now, I think it's up to 15 or 16 that are
Out
in the
of
process, out of 58.
58.
And there's more coming because everybody's in the same boat with this.
And basically the state's saying this is how we want it done.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And here is some funding to make that happen. And
So your presentation, which was May 4th, 14th, I'm sorry, 14th, was basically, like I said, as we were leaving, everyone's like, oh my gosh, it's all these changes, and it came out that it was all mail, and obviously it's voter centers. Actually kind of nice that instead of a one-day rush, you've got an open window,
yes.
Much larger.
That's what it was for, is so that voters have more choices.
Very cool.
That's exactly what it's for, because you can come to the vote center, and it basically, all of them will function essentially like an elections office.
When I know, like when we had some issues with elections, with running out of ballots, and had to run we had some fun.
Yes,
But the difficulty there is that day was the time.
Exactly.
And it's okay, well, you
Yeah,
can't get up there and back to fix this.
And with this
time.
process, one of the things that we are doing is having a ballot on demand system. So instead of having to have big piles of printed ballots, when you come into a vote center, and you need a new vote by mail ballot because yours is destroyed, you made an error, whatever.
Right.
You're connected to the registration system, and it's printing out
there.
the ballot that is appropriate for you.
Very cool.
And with this one, because it's presidential primary, so we have
Gonna be
party
great.
ballots as well as
They have moved that,
ballot.
so it's going to be, we might actually matter.
That was the point of it. We'll see.
Well, very cool. I guess, and I don't have, do you have anything else you need to share on this? You will be seeing in the paper a lot of coverage on this and
Yes.
a lot of outreach, and I truly appreciate you coming down here.
Thank
'cause
you.
Like I said, when I got done and came in, I was like, no, that's not exactly what I had heard, what's going on, which is why you had the panic call from me. There is an interview coming out on KVGC.
Correct. I think Tuesday, Jim.
And I think it's already up on Facebook.
It is. About vote centers and...
Yeah, because I think the real thing is you want to make sure everyone votes. It matters.
Yes,
Your vote
absolutely.
matters, and you also want to make sure that we're getting the right message out there. So really, the system is you're going to get a ballot in the mail. You can mail it back. You don't have to go to the vote center.
Correct.
But if you want to go to the vote center, you're going to have a time period. What's that time period for the vote centers again? It's open.
They're 11 days.
11 days
Up
open. So you have 11 days to go to the vote center. If you needed a ballot there, you have a system where you could spit a new ballot out.
Yep, and you
to
can
them.
go stand at the
So it's still kind of fun.
It's
Because
just
everyone
like
here,
a
there's a
poll.
lot of folks loved going to the polling places.
Yes.
And the little piece I heard of the folks that were kind of in the know that this was coming were like, man, I love the polling. I love showing up and
They like
seeing
to
the
come
stuff and the
visit.
action of the election day.
But
and
that
the-
still will be
and-
there, it's just less of them. You
Yeah.
still have all of the functionality of the
But
polling
it might be
place
fun.
plus some.
It'll put all of the different sides right by each other for 11 days versus one.
Yes, they're all coming through. They're all
So maybe we'll
coming
have a lot of news on that.
Yeah.
Again, you'll see some coverage in the newspaper, certainly through the media locally. And Kim, I appreciate you taking time to come down
Thank
to
you for having
verify the pieces. I just
Yes.
wanted to make sure for
And
the
more to
record.
come. More to
Make
come.
sure for the record we started off and I had, okay, yes, it is all mail, meaning you get the ballot, but you can go to the vote centers.
Yes.
When do you think those centers will be, when do you think the
Set.
decision? Yeah.
I actually have my first meeting with the Secretary of State's office later this afternoon, and that is part of the process to get their administration plan and the outreach.
This has got to be a huge deal for your office and for
Yes.
the state. I mean, this has got to, it's
It's
got
a
to be
lot.
very complicated,
It
I
is.
would think.
It is, yes, but we're up to it.
So,
It's-
yeah.
I'm excited, looking forward, because it's gonna give the Amador County voters the most current, secure, accessible.
Do you think by the next, so for the recall election, that would be a special election?
Correct, that's this year.
Will it be in time for that, do you think?
I don't know. I would like to say yes, but I really don't
It kind of
know.
comes down to what the,
Yeah,
what you have, all the hoops you got to jump through
All the
between.
hoops, and the whole state's doing this, so there's only very few certified vendors for elections in the state of California. So they're working with all the counties well, most of the counties to get these done, because some are already at vote centers.
And those are spread all throughout the state? Are they all glommed
Yes.
together in one area? Is it
No.
more northern or more southern or kind of all over?
I think right now as high north as it goes is Nevada,
Okay.
but it goes all the way down.
Are
south.
most of those that are signing up for this, are we the smallest, I mean, we're always the smallest county. Are there big counties and small counties, or are they
Yes.
starting with the rural side and going, or are they just kind of
There's
across the
actually
board?
both, and they were trying to do that because they started a pilot program when it first came through. But I think at the moment we're probably the smallest.
Well,
but
we're always
I-
the smallest.
But I'm talking, we're talking Calaveras, I'm talking Tuolumne,
Are there, what's the other closest counties, do you know, that are doing this? Are there,
Sacramento.
Sac will be, okay, so right next
And then
to it.
probably Nevada is the closest.
Okay,
Because Calaveras and Tuolumne are still in the process. I don't know that they're gonna do that for next year.
cool. Well, that's all I have, and I know there's a lot of stuff. We will
there's
have you
lots.
back down sometime to discuss all of the there's so many things going on all the time, and we
Yes.
certainly invite you back anytime. The big thing I want to do is get out some more information about this, and we'll get it out on video and
That's great.
YouTube and Facebook and podcast and
yes.
everywhere else, but then in the newspaper, which is the most important. Don't laugh at that. In the newspaper, we'll have coverage, and the elections office will keep you updated so that you can see what's going on and you can make your vote and make sure it counts.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
You bet. I appreciate it. Thanks, you guys.